everybody. So here we are. We're in my home where I live, and my husband, for the first time in nearly 3 months, decided that he wanted me to take him shopping because he said I'm a bad shopper. And then the whole time out there, he continued to tell me what a bad driver I was. And of course, before we left, I was just sitting here peacefully taking a nap. He wakes me up and he says he needs to go shopping, and so I go. Now, I'm all riled up. I'm kind of ticked off, actually. And I told him we were going to build him a man cave out in the backyard, just like he wants it, whatever. And he can just hang out there. I'm going to stay out there. Now, hopefully, one day we will have the funds to do that. Or maybe we, I don't know. Whatever the future holds, I'm sure it's going to be for the highest and greatest good of this particular family. And hopefully all of you too. Because I wish the highest and greatest good for all of you. But it would be really nice if he had his own man cave and he didn't have to use the garage, which is supposedly my laundry room. But I can't go out there because he's got his stuff going on, and his company and all that. It makes me crazy. Anyhow, I have half a mind to go for a drive. The only problem is that I've been all over the place already. I have gone to Scotts Mills, to Sublimity, gone to Aurora, I've gone to Gladstone, I've gone to Oregon City, I've gone to West Lynn, gone to Wilsonville. Really, the only place for me to go is, I guess I could go to Escataway, but that's a long drive. See, and I don't want to do a 2-hour drive. And if you really want to see the beautiful stuff, you have to drive 2.5 miles at least. 2.5, maybe 3 miles, and you get up to the natural hot springs. It's called Austin Hot Springs. However, it used to be somebody, back in 1996, when I first started going out there, somebody owned the land and they would allow people to drive in and to camp there. And it was wonderful because you could go in and camp, and there were a couple outhouses, and there was the hot springs bubbling up out of the river, and it was so wonderful. But then people started leaving dirty diapers and broken glass and, unrecyclable garbage behind. Okay, well, this was private land. And they weren't paying anybody to come by and clean up after people. This was not a park, public park. So they had to fence it all off. Stop it. And then they sold it to somebody in California, I think. And, of course, they really fenced it all off. And they dug ditches so people couldn't just drive in, where there were no fences. They dug these humongous ditches to keep people's cars out. So you'd have to hike in. And I haven't been out there in a long time. But I remember one time I sat out there. This is years ago. Mid-1990s. Oh, probably oughtn't tell you, but I will anyway. I had a screwdriver in one hand, and I had a Swisher Sweet in another hand, and the snowflakes were coming down, and they were so big. They were so big. And I was sitting in the pool, butt naked, didn't have nothing on. Just drink in one hand, Swisher Sweet in the other, butt naked. Oh, pitch black. And we had a fire right at the edge of the river. And lantern. And so there was just enough light to see the snow as it fell. It was so quiet. One of the most magical experiences I had ever had. I just wish that that time I hadn't been drinking or smoking. That would have been good. But it doesn't change the experience. The experience is what it is, and it is a beautiful memory. Wonderful, wonderful, beautiful memory. Looking straight up into the sky and seeing those huge snowflakes just falling right into my face. You know, some things only happen once in a lifetime. And that, I believe, is one of them. So I just shared that memory with you. That was a long time ago. How old was I in 1996? I think maybe I was 31. I was still skinny then. Oh, and I could build a fire out of wet wood like you wouldn't believe. Oh, that was fun. Pouring down rain. The wood was so wet. It was just wet. And so I started with this little teeny tiny bit of, fluff. And I started at a blue one. And then I gradually put little teeny tiny sticks on it. Got those going. And then gradually, over time. It took me a long time. But eventually, I had a teepee fire about the size of my chest. I mean, it was as tall as my chest. Of course, it was all rounded out like a teepee. And the hot coals on the inside. And so all the wood on the outside was still very wet. But it was drying out from the fire on the inside. Oh, I was messy. Wet. All charcoaly on the face. Messy. That was a wonderful experience. So, whatever happens in this life, it's experiences like those that we get. Nobody can take those from us. Those beautiful, magnificent, and nearly impossibly beautiful experiences.